Alright guys, welcome back to another review of Berserk. This time we're doing I believe we're doing part 2 of the Guardians of Desire. And so we're going to see what this behelit is all about. There's a table of contents. Oh, and before I go on any further, I'm thinking I might do half of this chapter because there's so many pages in this chapter, so I'm thinking I might go half. We'll see. Alright, let's get into it. So, this is where the revelation that Vargas has the behelit and Gus is just like a behelit, and he, obviously is insinuating that there's some history there. And Vargas is asked, what that is, and Gus just picks Vargas up by the throat and just like, who the hell are you? Where'd you get this thing? And Puck is just like, hey man, you need to chill out. And Vargas is answering him like, it's not mine, it's from the castle, it's the Count's. And I'm telling the truth, I ain't bullshitting you. So Gus lets go of him, and he's just like, tell me all about it, how you acquire and everything. So, of course, Vargas goes into the backstory of how he got it. He said 7 years ago, 7 years ago, after getting hold of this thing, the Count changed. He began to treat people as if they were mere playthings, dissecting them alive, slicing them open, chopping them up, violating them, and eating them. His inquisition of heretics became nothing more than an excuse to acquire more bodies. I couldn't bear to be part of the Count's diversions, so I secretly fled the castle with my wife and 2 sons. But on our way out, we were caught and thrown into prison. Then the fiend hacked me up, and right before my eyes, he took my wife and my sons. Even now, the image is seared to my memory. And here we see Vargas just on some instrument, some torture instrument or whatever the hell it is, and he sees the body. He sees like multiple bodies in the course of bodies of his wife and children, and in the background we see the Count literally eating them in front of him. Then he proceeds to say, at the time, more than anger or sorrow, more than concern for my wife and 2 sons, I was nothing but a prisoner of fear. I used a drug that I concealed to feign my death, and when the opportunity arose, I slipped out of the castle, taking this thing with me. It was a miracle. So that explains how Vargas is he doesn't even have like most of his limbs and half his face. So gruesome. And he's asking, what is this thing? And Gus fills in and says, that's the key that opens a portal to another world that overlaps our own. It's a key that summons demons from another dimension that have manipulated the dark side of human history since ancient times. The 5 members of the God Hand. And this will come into play soon as well. It's a little bit of foreshadowing. And, you're asking yourself, like, who are the God Hand? Who are these people? Because it seems like Gus has encountered them before. So, meanwhile, over at some building, I guess, we see Lord Zondark just going crazy after suffering a total humiliating defeat. And this old man is like telling him to calm down, and he's like, Zondark is like, I'll kill you. And so he actually does. I don't know if he does it by like just squeezing his head or just slamming down into the ground or something. But once he kills the old guy, he's just going even more berserk. And in comes the Count with his men. And Zondark's just yelling out, Black Swordsman, I'll kill you. And the Count's taking this in, and he tells his main man, have everyone evacuate the room at once. And the guy named Dowell, the right-hand man Dowell, he does so. He tells everyone to go, and Zondark's just beating his head into a column, just again, just seeing red. The Count comes up from behind him, and it just says like, you know, you desire to have your revenge, don't you? And he's like, yeah. And he's like, I'll do anything to kill him. And the Count's like, all right, very well. So he's basically granting his wish, and it's basically like a careful what you wish for moment, because what we see is that this dude just opens his mouth and a giant ass slug comes out, and he tells Zondark, you know, take it inside of you, my daemon. And we see this thing just enter inside the guy's mouth. Like, what the hell? So some time passes, and they see the Count come out with Lord Zondark. And this, I never realized how big this dude was until these panels came out right over here. And you can tell, yeah, his teeth are not human anymore. He's a daemon. And of course, the Count says to him, you know, the time has come for you to wreak vengeance to your heart's content. And Zondark's just, he's happy to hear that, and he's just laughing like a madman. So going over back to Guts, and Guts and Puck, they're looking, you know, they're messing with the behelit, or behelit, however you pronounce it. And Puck's just kind of mimicking with the way how the face is structured on the egg thingy, the behelit. And he's just, you know, messing around with it, slapping it, pointing at it, whatever. And he says, I don't believe it. It won't budge an inch. But if you look closely, it's kind of got a neat looking face. It's art. Yeah, art. Then he looks, and then he notices. He doesn't notice at first. Then, after he says all that, he's like, oh, it's not artwork. That thing's alive. Why didn't you tell me that before I touched it, you big jerk? And Gus fills in saying, well, it may be alive, but it's no danger in its current state. Let's say it's kind of a tool. And Puck asks, well, how does it summon the God Hand? Stupid, I wouldn't be going through all this trouble if I knew that. So he looks back at it in the eye, you know, the Bailiff just looks at him, and Puck just gulps, and he's like, oh man, I'm just feeling uneasy. And Guts asks Vargas, you know, how did the Count get a hold of this? And Vargas basically says, it's by chance. He happened to, you know, buy it from a caravan of merchants, and that's how he got it. And Gus is like, by chance, huh? And so they're going over the plans of the castle. You know, there's a secret passage used for escape from the castle that only a handful of people know about besides the Count himself. If all goes well, you should be able to reach the inner compound undetected. But he's like, you know, I wish I could go with you, but, you know, my body is a hindrance right now. You know, and he's just begging him, like, you know, for the past 7 years, I waited for this day. I waited for a man like you to arrive and kill the Count. And you're my only hope, please. Sounds like a little bit like Star Wars. Help me, Obi-Wan, you're my only hope. But just, you know, of course, the Vargas makes the fatal mistake of touching Gus, and Gus just kicks him away, saying, don't touch me. Puck's like, Gus. And he's like, hey, what's the big idea? And Gus just says, you make me sick. Don't you ever touch me like that ever again. Understand? And, you know, he's like, have you seen yourself in the mirror lately? And he's just going all in unnecessarily, like just telling the guy, like, basically, you're freaking ugly, man. And you're pitiful. And Puck's just saying, you know, you need to simmer down, dude. Like, that's how you talk to people who've been trying to help you. And Vargas acknowledges, like, yeah, you know, if only you kill the Count, I don't care what you say about me. I won't avenge you. But Gus is like, you know, I won't avenge you, but I'll kill him all right. I'll kill him all the same. Then they hear something. And just right there, right behind Guts, in comes this axe-wielding murderer. And it's shown to be Zondark. and the fury in his eyes, and he's just ready to kill Guts. He goes in for the attack. Guts blocks it with his heap of raw iron, his sword, whatever you want to call it, and Zondark, the demonized Zondark is just ready to go in even more. And Guts notices that, you're not even human, I can tell. And Zondark says, "Fool, I'll hack you to pieces." He goes in for this, goes in for the kill with his axe. And Guts just immediately interrupts that by just cutting off his arm. The battle seems to be won, only for a nasty surprise to occur, which we see, like, he's regenerating a limb. However, it's not like a regular hand. It's like this tendril thingy with hands and whatever else. Pretty disgusting. It snakes over to his war axe, and he's just saying, "Kill, kill," and just swinging it at him, just like an animal. I'm kind of getting like a little bit of Dark Souls flashbacks of this, which is how some enemies will attack with just a weapon just wildly. You're like, it's spamming. Okay, anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. Anyway, Puck is hiding in a skull. Vargas is trying to stay the hell back, and Guts is like ready. He's preparing himself, gripping his sword, getting into his stance, ready to rock and roll. And Zondark's like, "I'll chop you to mince meat." He does a wild ass swinging, and tries to confuse and constrict the guy, but Guts sees right through it and is able to block it. Then he dodges more attacks, and it's like this Zondark guy is just attacking real quick. He's doing so much damage that the ceiling just is caving in and is falling down. It almost crushes Puck, but Vargas comes in to save him, and he's just like, I'm okay, more or less, but you're the one I'm worried about, little one. And more of the stuff, falls down, and it's just like, what a horrible monster. God save us. Meanwhile, Zondark is going ham on Guts. Guts is blocking every attack made. And Puck notices that, he's swinging that battle axe like a whip. It's too fast for the human eye to see. At this rate, we'll all be chopped to bits. But the thing is, Guts is blocking every single blow. And this is where we see that Guts makes this cool, this cool move where he just he steps back, grips his sword in a certain way. Then with the cape, he dodges and just zooms right in for the kill, cutting half of Zondark's head off. So Puck mentions he's incredible. Always knew he was tough, but it seemed like he was just swinging around his sword. But now I realize he's a master swordsman. Again, this guy Guts is going against apostles, demons. This guy, it's been noted from the beginning that this guy has enough weaponry to take on, to make his own, just fight his own war, basically. So, of course, he's gonna have, he's gonna be armed to the teeth and just primed and ready to go fight these things. But we see that Zondark's not going down, and of course, we hear something saying, "Well done, Black Swordsman." And out comes this slug, the slug count, or count slug, whatever the hell it is. This nasty thing just coming out of the Zondark's head, and Zondark looks totally spaced out. Like he's no longer in control. and everyone was like, what the, you know, hell. And this thing continues to say, not bad, Black Swordsman, for a mortal, that is. And this is where I'm gonna stop it, unfortunately. Like I said, I'm gonna do half, but I almost didn't catch myself, but we're at the half mark. So I will do of course a continuation with this, like a one, I don't know what to call it, like a 1.5, a 2.5, whatever the hell. I'll figure something out. But hope to see you guys next time, and peace.